What's good in the hood, YouTube? This is Crazy Sarah, one here, bringing you another video. Today I'm bringing a video on Power Rangers Ninja Steel episode 14. The episode is called The Royal Rival, and the episode was pretty good. It had a pretty fast pacing overall, but I still liked it a lot. And this was definitely one that expanded on the story. So, for starters, the episode begins with the students in the Rangers class is presenting their business project. The only one that we actually really get to see is Sarah. Sarah presents this project where she's able to turn your everyday food into a cookie that is the flavor of that food. Victor and Monty challenge it, and what happens is that Victor ends up asking Monty for his lunch to try it with the machine. So Monty has sardines, broccoli, and liver. They put it in the machine, turns into a really good cookie. Both Victor and Monty like it, and then the teacher's impressed. Thing is that following the teacher asks Victor and Monty where their project is, they don't have it, and they are given a day to have one, otherwise they will receive an F. So from there, what happens is that we end up seeing what's going on the villain base. We are introduced to Princess Viera from the Lion Galaxy. She is the ruler. Obviously the princess of the Lion Galaxy, and she is also brought over with her royal guard known as Julian. Julian protects her and all that stuff, but at the same time, Princess Viera is seen as basically a weak leader due to the fact that she seems a little bit kinder and sweeter and not someone that's so evil per se, since she is working with Galvanox. At the same time, she's not someone that comes across as entirely evil, so people are kind of suspect of that. Anyway, from there, what happens is that they're all questioning it. They're all Galvanox is questioning her usefulness, and says if anything will make Julian the leader of the Lion Galaxy, since he is tough, and we'll put him in charge of it if she doesn't prove to hold up her end at destroying the Rangers. So what happens is that from there we end up seeing the Rangers outside of their school, selling cookies using the different ingredients people may ask for. So like someone asked for I think carrots and chicken or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but it was something that they put together, and people liked it, and then different people were making different things, and then eventually Redbot contacts the Rangers saying that there's a monster attack. So what happens is that Nick takes over selling the cookies, and in the meantime the Rangers go to find out what's going on. We end up seeing Julian and Princess Viera. Julian is attacking the city while Princess Viera is commanding from above, near the top of a building. So what happens is that the Rangers begin to come over after hearing about the attack, and they begin to fight Julian. And they are introduced about, he introduces himself that he is Julian and all that, and he is from the Lion Galaxy, and he's there to destroy them. They begin to get into a fight. Eventually, Calvin blocks an attack that ends up being deflected and knocks Princess Viera from a building that sends her falling. In the meantime, the other Rangers begin to attack, while Sarah notices her falling and says, "That's civilian, I have to save her." So then she ends up using one of her elemental stars to catch her in some vines and rescue her. Princess Viera is surprised, thinking, "Wait, you saved me, how could this be?" And Sarah says, "Well, I'm a ranger, and that's what I do. I like to save people, And so the thing is that from there, Princess Viera can't believe that she was willing to save someone, that Sarah was willing to save her, since Sarah's good, Princess Viera is bad, or at least that's how she's seen as. So what happens is that Princess Viera is shocked by this, and she decides to go over to Julian and calls him off from attacking the Rangers. Thing is that when the Rangers were actually fighting him, he managed to do some major damage to the point that he actually destroys some of their elemental stars. So, following this, what happens is that we end up seeing the Rangers still doing so. No, I forgot to also mention that Victor and Monty are also end up creating their own thing, which is they end up using a cow to sell milk. Thing is, the cow is stolen, and the police actually go to arrest them and put them in some sort of suspect situation where they could be potentially put in jail. So that's something. But anyway, what happens is that from here, Sarah's still selling the cookies, and we end up seeing that at the villain base, by the way, Galvanox is annoyed and upset by Princess Viera's actions, but the princess explains that, look, I want to examine my foes and better understand who they are and what they are and all that stuff before I go out of my way to destroy them. In the meantime, Galvanox is not very happy, but at the same time he knows that he still has an ace up his sleeve, which he ends up mentioning to Julian and says, if she doesn't prove to side with evil, then you definitely will be considered as the new leader of the Lion Galaxy. And he's like, I wouldn't have it any other way, basically. And that's when he knows that he could potentially be put in that kind of position and is ready for that. So then in the meantime, we end up seeing Viera in disguise. She watches Sarah as she's cooking these cookies, as she's going through the cookies, and then we have a little bit left over. Viera goes over to Sarah, and what happens is that they end up talking to each other. Sarah offers Viera a cookie, even though she doesn't have any money. But then what happens is that a kid comes over and steals a whole box of cookies that Sarah has, which she was giving to Viera. What happens is that the kid goes running, and then Viera follows her to take the kid down. Suddenly, Viera transforms into a cape or some sort of robe or whatever that ends up slowing him down and causing him to fall over. Now, this is kind of interesting to me because it makes me curious as to whether or not Mick might be from the same galaxy that Viera was. Why do I say that? Because she was able to transform. Because you have to remember, Mick has that transformation ability as well. So maybe they are from the same galaxy. Again, not saying that is the case, but I would imagine that could be possibly the case, that they are meant to be from the same galaxy. So from there, what happens is that we end up seeing Viera trying to take the kid down, and then Sarah ends up stopping Viera from attacking the kid and says and talks to him about, like, why are you doing this? And he explains that he dropped out of school and he has very little food, and this was for his sister and himself so that they have something to eat. And he needs to get whatever he can, and Sarah opens up the box that has the cookies and notices they're all broken up. And what Sarah says is, look, this is not, you don't need these cookies. What I'm going to do for you is I'm going to let you have my machine and I'll teach you how to use it. And you can sell cookies and make a decent profit and do well and actually go back to school. In exchange, you cannot steal anymore and you have to do right. And the kid's name is Billy, and he thanks Sarah. From there, Viera and Sarah talk to each other, and Viera mentions how, why would you let him go so easily? And Sarah mentions how, he didn't do anything wrong really. He's just had an issue. He's just been struggling and all that. And Viera's like, from my planet, there were people that I was taught to destroy my enemies or take anyone out that doesn't do right by me, rather than be kind, and you showed me that kindness can win people over even more so, and I am forever grateful. And what happens is that she also ends up mentioning how Sarah was a ranger and all that, and that really makes Sarah surprised, and she realizes then that, like, wait, you're the princess that had that monster Julian before. So from there, Sarah initially thinks that is confused and kind of worried, because it's like, why would this villain be helping her out? But at the same time, she's showing kindness. Then, following this, we end up seeing Julian. Julian gets into a battle with Viera and Sarah, And what happens is that Julian says that he'll destroy both of them in order to prove that he's worthy of becoming the leader of the Lion Galaxy. What happens is that Julian attacks Sarah, and Viera jumps in the way to block and save her from being taken out, showing that she is not someone that's really evil and is willing to do right because, Sarah saved Viera, so Viera will save Sarah now, which is commendable. It's something that you can respect. So then what happens is that Viera says that Sarah says go find somewhere safe to go, and what happens is that the Rangers begin to fight Julian. Julian does lots of damage, and what happens is that eventually the elemental stars are destroyed, and Viera says go. Viera says, I'm going to go and try to help you guys out. Just keep fighting as long as you can. I'm sorry, I have to go. And at that point, what happens is that Viera ends up returning back to Galvanox's ship to retrieve her lion ship to fight Julian. In the meantime, the Rangers continue to fight, and eventually they even use their final attacks, which don't do much, and eventually Cosmo gigantifies Julian. And also gigantifies 2 Skull Gators. From there, the Rangers use their individual Zords and then combine them into the Ninja Fusion Megazord, destroy, and then fight all 3 of those opponents as well. And what happens is that they destroy the Skull Gator, but manage not to destroy Julian. From there, all the Rangers' Zords get weakened to the point that they are separated, and then eventually they can't keep fighting. So then they think that all is lost, but then suddenly Princess Viera appears, uses her lion ship to attack Julian, and the Rangers rejoice, seeing that that Princess Viera wasn't lying about protecting the Rangers. So at that point they realize that they can trust her, or at least trust her enough to the point that she's willing to help them in some capacity. So following this, what happens is that we end up seeing the Rangers back to in the business class or whatever, and what happens is that the teacher asks where Sarah's project is, and Sarah says that she gave it away, and the teacher says that she'll have to give her an F. Then the boy Billy returns and says, look, it's not her fault. She gave me her machine so that I could help my sister and myself, and I was able to make enough money to now go back to school, and also she helped me out in a lot of ways, and they give each other a hug, and the teacher forgives her and gives Sarah an A+ grade. Then they question, where is Victor and Monty? Victor and Monty are still in jail, and the cow decides to pick out of all the suspects who stole her, and basically, Victor and Monty. It's really dumb, but you got my point. Anyway, following this, what happens is that what do you call it? We then see Princess Viera running away, because what happens is that Galvanox actually shot down the lion ship, and Viera goes walking towards the town of the Rangers, probably to go look for them and talk with them. So anyway, that's basically where the episode ends. There's not a crazy lot that happened, but overall it's more of an episode that's meant to build up things that will be further explained and further built up upon during the next episode, and then after that we won't be getting much story episodes till episode 18 or 19, more so 19. But anyway, I'd love to know your guys' opinions. What did you guys think of this video? Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So telling you guys some crazy Samurai 21, and goodbye, guys.